The popular image of Yahshua the Messiah is so different from what the Bible actually says about him. You can ask so many simple questions about him and his life, and most people will give you just the opposite answer of what it says in the Bible. Now, why is this? Why is religion so backwards and upside down? Why are the preachers and the ministers and the priests out there teaching a Yahshua the Messiah that is opposite of what he is in the Bible? So many will say that the God of the Old Testament was fire and brimstone and mean and bad, and the God of the New Testament is all wonderful and kind and loving. Did Yahweh change? Isn't he the same yesterday, today, and forever? That's what it says. In the Bible it says he's the same. He doesn't change. Let's take a look at who Yahshua was, because Yahshua is Yahweh. He says, if you see me, then you see the Father. They're the same. They have the same mind, the same goals, the same plan. They work together in 100% harmony and unity. They're not the same being. They're two different beings, the Father and the Son, but they are completely united. They work completely 100% together. They agree on everything, and they have a perfect plan of salvation for us. Whether we accept it or not, that's a different story. But everything in the Bible that is set out in the Bible, all the commandments, are for our good. None of the commandments are bad. And there are commandments all over the Bible, not just 10 commandments. I'm speaking about all of the commandments in the Old Testament and all of the commandments in the New Testament. And there are many in both, New and Old. Many times they repeat and complement each other and expand on each other. Let's take a look at what Yahshua said in Matthew 10 and verse 30. He's talking about us, and he's telling how important we are. Matthew 10:30 says, "But the very hairs on your head are all numbered. Do not fear, therefore. You are of more value than many sparrows." I cut into the middle of the idea there, but he's saying how important we are. Actually, he actually knows how many hairs we have. Now, for me, granted, that's a lot easier, but I'm sure if the people would have understood it, he could have even said, I even know the DNA in your body. I know every single cell, every blood and bone and skin cell in your body and where it's supposed to be. He knows everything about us. He made us, and he loves us. He's trying to say how much he loves us, how much he cares for us, that he would let his own son be sacrificed, tortured, abused, beaten, and then murdered so that we could live. How many people could let their own son or daughter be sacrificed for another person? And like that, knowing, and they knew what was going to happen to him. The Father and the Son, they both knew it. That's why he prayed if there was just a way to get that this wouldn't have to happen, but not my will be done, but your will be done. He knew how terrible it was going to be. So, therefore, whoever confesses me before men, him I will also confess before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, him I will also deny before my Father who is in heaven. So, tough times are coming. Very tough times. Do you realize that if we read in the Bible, it says 144,000. It talks about 144,000. So let's imagine that you and I are one of those 144,000 in the end times, and that we're living in the end times. That means that we will be one in around 48,000 people. Imagine there's 48,000 people, 50,000 people, and you're the only one that's a true believer. Everyone else is going to be worshiping the anti-Messiah and the false prophet. You're going to be very unpopular. It's kind of scary. We have to know who our Father is and trust him and not fear those who can hurt this body. Fear him who can take our soul and throw it into the lake of fire. But he loves us, and he knows what we're going through, and he knows what we will be going through, and he'll be there to help us and encourage us. It doesn't mean that we won't have to suffer, that we won't be tortured maybe, and we won't be beheaded or killed. We might be for our beliefs. But the reward is incredible. It's the king in being in the kingdom with Yahweh as an eternal being, as a son of Yahweh, as a king and a priest in his kingdom. So, will you deny and say, no, I don't know who Yahshua is. Yeah, I worship the guy, this beast. You know, he's not going to be called the beast, obviously. The beast, the anti-Messiah. But people will be worshiping him because of the miracles he's going to be doing. And what will be our reaction? Can we stand up and say, no way? He's a false Elohim. I worship the only true Elohim, Yahweh and his son, Yahshua. The image, if you ask most people about Yahshua, do you think he came to bring peace on earth? Most people would say, yes, of course, he's a peaceful God. And what did he say in verse 34 of, this is Matthew 10, verse 34. Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be everyone from the community and the town and the city, the government, the New World Order. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. He's talking about priorities here now, and it's very serious. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. This is a really serious commitment. He's asking us to make a decision in our lives. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. I think we could take this two ways, and both ways would apply. That if you find your life, you know, the life that you had hoped for, this job and this living in this community with this type of family and doing all the things, the American dream or the dream from your country that you thought you would have, to be successful in this. And if you get that life, but you turn your back on him. See, a lot of people think, oh, I could do both. Kind of sitting on the fence. I can have a little bit of everything. Be part of the world and also be a son of Yahweh. He who finds his life will lose it. He who loses his life for my sake will find it. Now that could be really losing your life, being decapitated, murdered as a martyr or whatever in the end times. Or it could be giving up the life that you had hoped for and living your life for Yahshua in a much different way. Not having all those aspirations and dreams and ambitions that so many people have in this world that are passing and fading away. Look at all of the people who put all their life and their dedication into the stock market and into real estate and all of the things that you could do in this world, and now they're seeing how vain it is when it's all going down the drain. And I don't know if it's come to it yet, but a lot of times with a stock market crash or a depression, people kill themselves. They wind up losing their life anyway, in both senses. So let's get our priorities straight. Let's live for the kingdom. Let's live for Yahweh and Yahshua. Don't let anything separate you from him. But still have love. We still have to have love for our family, our community, our brethren. You know, you can't become a hateful or a bad person, but have your priority right. Your priorities right. Yahweh and Yahshua are first. Everything else comes second. It says, seek ye first the kingdom, and all other things will be added to you. All of these things will be added unto you. The things that we think that we have to take care of, he'll give them to us. Shalom and blessings to you.